Ma'am, can I share the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Hope the screen is visible.
Visible. It's visible, ma'am.
Visible. All right. All right. So let me just start. So a great morning to all of you here. So a great morning to all of you here. Wish you all a wonderful day ahead. So with this note, I would start today's session. So in continuation with yesterday, I would just like to bring to your notice that, a small gesture of what we discussed. So initially we discussed about aptitude as a whole, the reason behind the, taking aptitude as an initial level of recruitment, initial level of elimination. And then we saw a couple of other problems, post which we also saw the shortcuts to find the squares of 2-digit numbers and cubes of 2-digit numbers. So I believe there are less number of participants as of now. So till then the others join us. I would just like to take you all through a small wizard, a mental wizard. Okay, so now let me just go through this. And I can see people, giving me options in the chat. So I can still, yes, I can still people giving me option or giving me, texting me through the chat. So with that note, I would like to take this forward. If you can see the screen, so it is just like your mental wizard. I'm going to tell you what it is all about. You can, of course, have a lot of excitement on it. I'm just going to tell you what it is all about. Now, the first step is that, see, I hope you all have your pen and a paper with you all. Okay, so just think of any 5-digit number, You need not tell me the digit, you need not tell me the number as such. Just think of any 5-digit number, write it on your notebook. So example is what I have given here. I hope you can see the example down. So this is your example. One, two, three, four, five, isn't it? So this is your example. So for an example, you just take any 5-digit number, think of any 5-digit number, write it down. So here comes your next step. Okay, here comes your next step. Multiply it with 9. So multiply the 5-digit number with 9. For example, I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I multiplied it with 9, and the answer that I got is 111105. So like that, you can take any 5-digit number. Any, provided it is not repeated, the digits are not repeated. So, to the most. And you can multiply it with 9. Multiply it with 9 and keep the answer with you. Just multiply it with 9 and keep the answer with you. So that's going to be your second step. Hope you must have done that. Now, the third step is you can strike out any number of your choice. Just strike out any number of your choice. Strike out any number of your choice. Okay, again, you did not tell me the answer for now. You can strike out any number of your choice. Yes, done. All right. So Bhagya has given me done. Fine. Now add the remaining digits. So for example, see, you can see the, the example as such there. So I've striked out 1. I have added the remaining digits. That is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 0 plus 5. So add all the remaining digits. Add all the remaining digits. Yes. So if you could tell me the addition, that is your sum. If you can tell me the sum, I can tell you what number you erased. You striked out. Okay, one by one. I'm just coming one by one. So Sejal has given me an answer of 31. So if you have striked out 31, then, if your sum is 31, then you must have striked out 5. Is that correct, Sejal? Yes. Okay, so coming over to the next answer, after Sejal, it was It was Deepika who had given me an answer 20. So if your answer is 20, then you must have striked out 7. Is it right, Deepika? Okay. Then the next answer from Amrita is 3. So if your answer is 3, then you must have striked out 6. Amrita, you can just check, you must have striked out 6. And Bhagya, if you have if your answer is 28, then you must have striked out 8. Bhagya must have striked out 8. Padmaleka has given an answer 20. So if 20 is your answer, Padmaleka, you must have striked out.
No, I messaged him. The moment I messaged.
Okay, so Padmaleka, you must have striked out 7. And Tamara has given an answer 32. So if your sum is 32, then you must have striked out 4. Ramya has given answer 8. The sum is 8. So which means that Ramya must have striked out either 0 or 9. And Srimati. So Srimati have given an answer 22. So if your answer is 22, then you must have striked out 5. Okay. So I hope your answers are all right. I mean, the number that you have striked out is all correct. Okay. So you must be wondering how this is possible. Can anyone tell me the logic behind? It's a very, very simple logic. Yes. So of course, Kaveri, who has given, okay, Kaveri's number, I think Kaveri's sum is 9. So which means that Kaveri must have striked out either 0 or 9. So, okay, 37. See, if 37 is your answer, then you must have striked out 8. Yes. So can anyone just guess what the logic behind may be? What can be the logic behind? See, it is very, very simple. Okay. So it just talks about the divisibility of 9. We are just talking about the divisibility of 9. Now, what is the divisibility of 9 actually is? Now, to count the divisibility or to check the divisibility of 9, I start from here. Okay, maybe in today's session, I start from here. When you talk about divisibility of 9, the general procedure is that we add all the digits. The sum of the digits should be a multiple of 9. For example, if you take the multiples of 9, now say 9 is as such 9. So the next multiple is 18. So when you take 18, it must be 1 plus 8, which is again 9. So 27, 2 plus 7 is 9. 36, 3 plus 6 is 9. 45, 4 plus 5 is 9, and so on, isn't it? So the sum of the digits should be equal to 9. So that's the divisibility rule for 9 indeed. Now, if you can take this particular, say, wizard, so you are thinking of any 5-digit number, you're multiplying it with 9. So your answer can either be a 5-digit or a 6-digit number. It may not be 5-digit, maybe any digit as such. So you multiply it with 9. So this number automatically means that the answer that you got automatically refers to that it is divisible by 9, because only on multiplying it automatically, it is a reverse process. It is divisible by 9. So when it is divisible by 9, again, it follows the divisibility rule. You add all the digits that will be equal to the multiples of 9 indeed. So you are adding all the digits, and that just counts to one particular number less than the next multiple of 9. So that's how, see, for example, if I get 8, the next multiple of, the next multiple, the nearest multiple to 8, the nearest next multiple to 8 is 9. So the difference between them is 1. So naturally, it means that I have striked out 1. So this way, you can, excite your friends. You can also create a lot of wizards for divisibility, divisibility by 3, divisibility by 11, and so on. So unless you know the procedure really well, you can definitely create a lot of wizards like this. I hope it is clear for all of you. Should be subtract. It is not that you subtract from 9. You have to subtract from the next multiple of 9. Say, for example, I'm going to take 44. So Shweta's answer is 44 here. Okay, so what I'll do is 44's next multiple of 9 is 45. So I reduce 44 from 45 and my answer is 1. So which means that Shweta must have striked out 1. Okay, so same is the case here also. So if I take 36 7. Now let's take Kirtana's answer. So Kirtana's answer is 37. So 37's next multiple is 45. So I reduce 37 from 45 to get the answer. So which is nothing else but 8. So it automatically means that Kirtana must have striked out 8. Yes. Yes. If it's 18, then the strike number should be 0 because 18 is naturally divisible by 9. Yes, of course, should be. Fine. That's good. And also there's a possibility to have strike out 9. So it can either be 0 or 9. Good. It can be 9 too. That's right. It can either be 0 or 9. Yes. Wow. Amazing. Yes. It's amazing indeed. So you also can create a lot of mental results like this, provided, see, only with the help of divisibility. We just did not do anything. Divisibility, I guess you must have started studying divisibility in class 4, class 5. So it is only about the divisibility which will emphasize you to create a lot of mental results and surprise your peer group. Okay, I hope you will do that. So there are two advantages. One is that you get well versed with the divisibility fact. The other advantage is that you get a lot of popularity indeed. Okay, so we can we all move to the next slide? I guess a lot of people have joined. Yes. I'm sorry if I have missed out any questions of yours yesterday. Yesterday, like there were a lot of queries about to know about the banking exams, to know about the UPSC procedures and everything. Okay, so I have taken a couple of my old presentations in that, which will give you a pretty clear idea about it. And you also have a lot of websites in it carrying, so you can go through all the websites and get all your informations required. Okay, but maybe at the end of the session we will go for it. Now we will start with the plan as assigned for the day. Okay, so to find the square root. So yesterday we calculated, or we saw the shortcuts to find the squares of 2-digit number, and today we are going to find the shortcuts to find the square root of 2-digit numbers. Okay, just a second. So I hope the screen is visible now. Yes, let us just move towards it. All right. Yes, good. Thank you, Harita. Thank you, Priyanka, for all the responses. You know, that's really wonderful to have you all respond. Now we are talking about the square root of, this is specifically to find the square root of 2-digit numbers. See, there are different techniques to find the square root of 2-digit numbers, square root of 3-digit number. Now you must be having one question. How do you literally know that the square, this number is a square root of, or the square of 2-digit number? See, I'll tell you a very simple technique. 2-digit numbers, squares can either have 3-digit or 4-digit and not more than that. And similarly, 3-digit numbers can have squares of 5-digit or 6-digit and not more than that. So that's the way you categorize the number. So since this is a 4-digit number, this is a square number. So this is a square number. So since this is a 4-digit number, of course, its square root has to be a 2-digit number indeed. So if it is going to be a 3-digit number or a 4-digit number, and definitely the square root will be a 2-digit number as such. Okay, so I'm going to find the square root of, this number indeed. Let me give you a small procedure to find the square root of this number. Just square root of this number. Let me just write the number here. Now I need to know what is 1 square. So 1 square is, we all know that 1 square. So 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, 4 square. I want you all to write that. Write that in your notebook. So 1 square is 1, 2 square, So 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square will be 9, 3 square will be 9. 4 square will be 16, 5 square will be 25, 6 square will be 36. Just write that across in your notebook. 7 square will be 49. 8 square will be, I don't have space, so I'm writing it here. 8 square will be 64. Then let me move to the up. So 9 square will be 81 and 10 square will be 100. So let us just have this. I want everybody to write this down in your notebook. Now we are coming over to 2916. So we are coming over to 2916, isn't it? Now I'm just going to separate this number out. That is, I segregate the last two numbers, I put it away, and this one. So the first step that I do is I need to know. See, you need not, I mean, you may not be able to write the squares, at least till 10 squares, you have to know. You may not be able to write the squares of all the two-digit number at a stretch. Just remember this across in your mind. And to find the square root, just write the four-digit number. Keep the last two digits aside. Okay, so I am just separating it out, the last two digits. Now, since I have the 6 in my units place, so since I have 6 in my units place, the square root can either be, see, if you can just look at it, the square root can either be 4 or it can be 6, isn't it? The square root's units number can either be 4 or 6 because 29, see, 29 and 16 are here. I've segregated the last two digits. Now these digits, the last two digits will determine the units place of my square root, and 29 will determine the ones place of my square root. So that's the whole part of it. So the last two digits will determine the ones digit, the units digit of my square root, and the remaining digits in the beginning will determine the ones digit of my square root. So since I have 16 here in my, the second part, I need to check where and all 6 is possible. See, I don't look for 16, I only look for 6. Now, where and all 6 is possible. So either it can be 4 square or it can be 6 square, right? So I'm going to write both the possibilities there. So I'll write 4 and 6 here. Now let's come to the first two digits, which is 29. So 29 lies between what two numbers? So I'm looking out for the squares. These are all my squares. That is 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. So these are all my squares. And in turn, one square, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is all my square root, right? So 29 lies between what two square numbers is what I have to look at. So 29 lies between 25 and 36, for which I take the least one. So which is 25. I go with 25. I predetermine 25 there, whose square root is 5. So I'll place 5 across here. Okay. So I'll place 5 across here. So I'll just write 5 and 5 down. So my square root can either be 54 or 56. Now, how do I come to a decision? See, even though the procedure looks little long, but I'm telling you, once you practice this a lot, you can just solve it in a jiffy. It will definitely save a lot of time for you. So the answer, that is the square root of 2916 to 2916 can either be 54 or 56. Now, how do I come to the decision? Here, when you have this 29, right, this is your reference number. Always remember, the number, the first part of the number is your reference number. So I am confirmed with the ones digit, the tens digit, which is 5 for sure. So I take 5 and I take the reference of the next number of 5. So what is the sequential next number of 5? The next number of 5 is 6. So I take 6 here and multiply both. So 5, 6 is 30. Now all I have to compare is this 30 and 29. So as I told you, 29 becomes your reference number. Since 29 is less than 30, the number which is lesser in these two will be your square root. So you compare 54 and 56. So which is the lesser one? 54 is the lesser one. So you confirm 54 as your answer. That is, the square root of 2916 will be 54. I repeat the whole procedure for the next problem. Yes, I repeat the whole procedure for the next problem so that you will still have a better clarity. So now we are going to take 7056, right? So 7056. Now I want you all to respond. Now I divide. The first step, as I told you, that I do is I just divide this number. So I just put a segregation part. The last two digits on one side, that is I separate, and the remaining numbers are 70. So since I have 6 in my units place, I just wanted to check, what and all is possible. So I can either have 4 or 6 in the units digit of my square root. Okay, so I can either have 4 or 6 in the units digit of my square root. Now I look at for 70. So 70 lies between what two numbers? Can anyone tell me 70 lies between what two numbers? You just have to quickly go through the squares. 70 lies between 8 square, 64. So we can have 8 square, which is 64. Okay, 8 square, which is 64, and 9 square, which is 81. So 70 lies between 64 and 81. So I take the minimum of it, which is 64, whose square root is 8, right? So the answer can either be 84 or 86. So your answer can be 84 or 86. Now, how do you confirm if that is 84 or 86? So now I'll take 8. So I would just take 8 and the sequential number is 9. So 9 8 is 72. Now I compare 72 with the base number 70. That is my reference number 70. So 70 is a number which is less than 72. So I take the minimum. I compare these two. I take the lesser number, which is 84. So 7056 square root is 84. I hope it's clear for all of you. And if you have, yes, very good, Varshini, excellent, excellent, excellent. Can you try for 6,241? Oh, I'm sorry. 6,241. So we are going to take 6,241. So same is the case. We separate the last two numbers. So it is 1. You can either have 1 or 9. See, that is just because you take, again, when you write the squares, you can see that there will be two numbers for the units, square numbers, square roots. So that's the reason we have this controversies. Whereas in cube roots, you will not have that, because for cube roots, all the units numbers of the cubes are entirely different. Here, the units numbers of the square are repeated, and that's why we take the possibilities there. So 1 or 9. Now you look at 62. 62 lies between what two numbers? It lies between 7 square, which is 49, and 8 square, which is 64. Right? So 62 lies between 49 and 64. So then I take 49 as my reference. I always have to focus only on the least number. Okay, so then the square root is 7. So the answer can either be, the answer can either be 71 or 79. I'm sorry. The answer can either be 71 or 79. Okay, so we were actually solving 6,241. So you separated it out and from which you found. So this, 7, and I take the next number of it, 7 8, 56. Now you have to compare 62 and 56. So here, this is a different case. So 62 is a number greater than 56. So you look out for the greater number of it, which is 79. Sure, Sindhu, I'm repeating it again. I'm just repeating it again. So 79 will be the answer. Sindhu, I'll work out 6,241 for you again. Is that all right? Okay, okay. So Abhi has also given out to find the units value, those two values. Okay, sure. I'll work out 6,241 again for you all. Okay, I'll work out 6,241 again for you all. Now, see, I'll just write from the beginning. Now I take 1 square. 1 square is 1. 2 square is 4. So then 3 square. So 3 square is 9. Then it is 4 square. 4 square is 16. Then 5 square. So 5 square is, I'm sorry. Okay, so 5 square is 25. Then it is 6 square. 6 square is 36. Then 7 square. 7 square is 49. Then it is 8 square. 8 square will be 64. And 9 square is 81. And 10 square is 100, isn't it? So these are the square numbers. Now, if you can look through, okay, if you can look through, see when I take 4, now suppose if I'm going to take this number 6241, isn't it? So the first step that I do is I divide the last two, I segregate the last two digits. So that is my first step. Now, since I have 1 in my last place, I look out where, in which square number. See, these are all your square numbers. That is 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100 is all your square numbers. Okay, so now I have to see where and all. Okay, you have the square numbers. So I have 1, the units digit is 1, and also for 9 square it is 81 is 1. So the square root can either be 1 or 9, and that's how I decide it can either be 1 or 9. The square root can either be 1 or 9. Now, going ahead with the second part, that is your first two numbers, which is 62. I look at 62 lies between what two numbers? So 62 lies between 49 and 64. See, first of all, I'm focusing only on the square numbers. So for 62 lies between 49 and 64. So I'm going to take the least number of it, which is 49, whose square root is 7. So the answer can either be 71 or 79. Okay, your answer can either be 71 or 79. Now, how do you confirm if it is 71 or 79? You take 7, where the number that you had fixed, and multiply it with the next sequential number of it. So after 7, it's going to be 8. So 7 8s is 56. Right? Now you compare 56 and 62, because I told you in the beginning, 62 will be your reference number. 62 will be your reference number. So now you have to compare 56 to 62. If 62 is a lesser number, you go with the lesser value of these two. If 62 is a higher number, you go with the higher number of these two. So 62 is higher than compared to 56. So which means that 79, that is the higher number between these two, which is 79, and that will be the answer. So the square root of 6241 or 6241 is 79. Is it clear? Is it clear, Sindhu? Yes, anytime, anytime. Is it clear? Yes. If you still have doubts, you can definitely let me know. I am here to clarify it. Okay, clear. You all understood. Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now we are moving towards the last problem of it, which is 1225. I think this should be very, very easy for you all. So 1220, okay, 1225. Now the first step that I do is segregate, separate out the last two numbers. So this is 5. And of course, when you have 5 in your units place, naturally it only has to be 5 and you don't have any other choice at all. It only has to be 5. So 12 lies between what two numbers? 3 square is 9. Okay, 3 square is 9 and 4 square is 16, isn't it? 4 square is 16. So it definitely lies between, that is 12 lies between 9 and 16, where you take the reference of 9 and the square root is 3. So it has to be 35. Simple. So 35 square is 1225. And of course, you know how to find the squares of the numbers ending in 5. 35 square, 3 4s 12, 25. I hope this is clear for all of you. Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Good. Excellent. Okay, so now we are moving towards finding out the cube roots. See, this is all applicable only for the perfect square numbers and perfect cube numbers. So this is applicable only for the perfect square numbers and perfect cube numbers. Okay, now you must be having one other question. How do we find if that is a perfect square number or perfect cube number? See, it is, as I told you, it is all about the time management. Okay, so there is no specific protocol. There is no written protocol that you have to solve aptitude only in this way. So this is the only unique way of taking aptitude ahead. So there is no specific protocol. Now, when you take me, if I am going to be given a problem to find out the cube roots and square roots and everything, what I will do is I'll immediately check out the cube roots using the shortcuts. And I also know to find the cubes of, say, 3-digit number. Cubes of 2-digit numbers, squares of 2-digit numbers. So I cross verify. Okay, so I cross verify and accordingly I will take the value. So the nearest values, so you will definitely have the choices. So with the choices, I just manipulate and put it across. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. You have to start living with numbers. So once you start living with numbers, all these are just cakewalk. Okay, so now let us just try to find out the cube roots. To find out the cube roots, of course, you need to understand or you need to know the cubes of numbers. Okay, the cubes of numbers is very, very essential. So let us just check out. So 1 cube is 1, 2 cube is 8. You can also make a note of all these in your notebooks. So 3 cube is 27. Then it is 4 cube is 64. Then it is 5 cube is 125. Then it is okay. So 5 cube is 125. Then it is 6 cube. 6 cube will be 216. Then it is your 7 cube. 7 cube will be 343. Then it is 8 cube. 8 cube will be 512. Then it is 9 cube. 9 cube will be 729. And then it is 10 cube. 10 cube will be 1000. So as I told you in the beginning, at least till 10 cube, you're supposed to know. Okay, at least till 10 cube, you're supposed to know. And you will definitely, you will become familiarized with all this. So the first number that we are going to take is 148,877. So to find the square root, we segregated the last two numbers, isn't it? Now to find the cube root, we are going to segregate the last three digits. Simple. So to find the cube root, we are going to segregate the last three digits. And if you could just observe all, see, as I told you, all these are your cube numbers. So these are all your cube numbers and these are all your cube roots. Always remember, these are the cube roots. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 10 is all your cube roots. And 1, 8, 27 till 1000 is all your cube numbers. So let me look at the cube numbers. And if you could see the cube numbers, you can see 1 repeated nowhere else. 8 repeated nowhere else. 7 repeated nowhere else. I'm talking only about the last numbers. Okay, so here I'm talking only about the last numbers. So you don't have 8 as your last number for anything else. 7 as your last digit for anything else. 4 is your last digit for any other number. 5 as your last digit for any other number. So like that, you have the roots, the cube roots from 1 to 10 are, the last digit of the cube numbers of 1 to 10 are unique. Okay, the last numbers, the last digits of the cube numbers of 1 to 10 are unique, right? So that's the, the point that we are going to use it up here. So since I have 7, I look out for a number where 7 will be the last digit or unit digit of the cube number. So 7 will be the unit digit of 3 cube because 3 cube is 27. So I will definitely write 3 here. So as in the case like before, this decides the units number of my cube root and this decides the tens digit of my cube root. Okay, so this decides the units number of my cube root and 148 will decide the tens digit of my cube root. So I looked out for 7. So 7 is 3 cube which ends in 27. So I immediately place 3 here and 8. So 148. 148 lies between what two numbers? 148 lies between 125 and 216. So I take 5. So 53 cube is 1,48,887. So you need not even need, you don't even need a pen and a paper to solve. You can just tell me the answer as such. Just by looking at the number, you can tell me the answer. I hope this is clear for all of you. Wow. Yes, definitely. It is a wow thing, right? I hope all of you understood. Can we try another number here? So let us just
Sorry to interrupt. Ma'am,
yes.
in this, like for the previous sum for square root, we just took up, since 62 was greater than 56, we took up the greater number in 6241.
Okay. Yes, yes.
So the final number was 79.
That's
but
right.
Here also, if you see like in cube root, the sum that we did now, between 125 and 126, that is 148. We need to find this 148. So 148 is greater than 125. So won't we take 216? Six cube.
Okay, wonderful question. Wonderful question. Thank you for taking this doubt ahead because so many people may have this doubt. See here, we had a choice because just because the units number of your square numbers are, I mean, there are repeated units number of your square numbers. Now, if you take the square numbers of 1 to 10, see, I'm going to write down the square numbers again from 1 to 10. So 1 square is 1, 2 square, just a second. Okay, so 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 5 square is 25, so 6 square as 36, so 7 square as 49, 8 square as 64, 9 square as 81, and 10 square as 100, isn't it? Now, if you could just look at this, see, I'm talking about, these are all your square numbers. That is 1, 4, 9, 16, 25 till 100 is all your square numbers. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 10 is your square roots, right? Now, if you look at the square numbers, exactly, especially the last digits, you can have, when I have 1, you have 2 possibilities of having the last digits as 1, because even 81 has 1 as your last digit and 1 also has 1 as your last digit. And similarly, when you take 4, you have 4 here and here. That is 64 also has 4 as your last digit and 4 also has 4 as your units digit. And similarly, when you take 9, it can be 3 square, which is 9, and 7 square, which is 49. So 49 also has 9 as your last digit, and 9 also has 9 as your last digit, right? And similarly, for 16, that is for 6, you may have 16 with 6 as your last digit and 36 with 6 as your last digit. And that's the reason I wasn't able to confine to a specific number. So if I'm going to take 6241, okay, 6241, how do I decide that 1 can lead to 1 only, or 9? How can I come to a conclusion if this is going to be either 1 or 9? See, for 62, if I'm going to take the first 2 digits, because the first step that I did is segregating the number. So with 41, I'm able to analyze that my units number of the square root can either be 1 or 9. That's perfect. Now, when it comes to 62, 62 lies between what 2 numbers? 49 and 64. Okay, so we'll take the least here over here, so which is 49. So whose square root is 7. So this is 7. Now, the 10th digit of my square root is confirmed. So the 10th digit, of course, is going to be 7. So no doubt in that. But my ones digit can either be 1 or 9. So the number, the square root, can either be 71 or 79. Now, how do I confirm if it is 71 or 79? And that is the reason I took this process. That is process of taking the next sequential number of 7, which is 8. So wherein here it is 56. So I compared 56 with 62 and then finalized. Since 62 is a greater number, I compared 71 and 79 and then finalized 79, which is a greater number among 71 and 79 as your answer. Okay, so the reason behind comparing is just because I had 2 different possibilities. Whereas when it comes to the cube root, you don't have a possibility at all, because the last digit, that is your units digit of all the cube numbers, are unique. Whereas that is not the case with the square root. The units number of all the square roots, I mean square numbers, are all not unique. Whereas in the cubes, the units number of all the cube numbers are unique from 1 to 10. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, anytime. I hope this question has added up. I mean, it's clear for all of you. Solving squares 35. How to find 35 square? Can you please repeat? Sure, Abhi, I'll do that. Say 35 square. Now, when for a number that ends in 5, okay, for a number that ends in 5, for example, 35. So this is a number that ends in 5, right? So you can just take 25, because all the number that ending in 5, it's not all the number. I'll come back to this. Okay, for this, just consider it for this case, 35 square. So I've taken 5 square, which is 25. I write this as the last 2 digits. Now the initial digit before 25 is depends on this. So I'll take 3, and 3's next number, which is 4. So 3 4s is 12. So the answer will be 12,225. 1,225. Same is the case with any other number that ends in 5, square, to find the square root. So I take 4 into the next number of 4. 4's next number is 5. 4 5s is 20. So then I write 25. So 20, 25. And similarly, you can go with 65 square. So 65 square, 6. I have 6 here. So 6 is next number. 6's next number is 7. 6 7s is 42. So you can take 42 and 25. 44,225 will be your answer. So for any number that ends in 5, you can go for this short technique? Anytime, anytime. Okay. Cube roots again. Yes, cube roots, I'll do it for you once again. Definitely, definitely. See, we still have certain other numbers left, so we would be doing the cube roots once again. So I'm going to take this number, the second number, which is 3 to 32,768. So the first step that I do is segregate the last three numbers. See, I'm very, very clear that I separate the last three numbers first. Okay, so since I have 8, so I have 8 here, what can be my units digit of the cube root? So this is definitely a 2-digit number. So I place 2 digits here. So since I have 8, what can be my last digit? It has to be 2 because 2 cube is 8. Okay, now I come to the first 2 digits, which is 32. So I see 32 lies between what two numbers of my cube numbers? So I just check, see 2 cube is 8, 3 cube is 27, right? And 4 cube is 64. So naturally, 32 lies between 27 and 64. So I take 27 as my reference, whose cube root is 3. So now I place 3 here. So 32 cube is this. Yes, good, very good, 32. Right, so let us just check the next problem down, 97,336, right? So we are going to take 97,336. So since 6 is in your units place, naturally 6 will be the last number of your cube root. So this is a 2-digit number. The cube root is a 2-digit number. So where the units digit is 6 for sure. So I have segregated this. Okay, so here comes 97. So I need to check 97 lies between what two numbers? So 97 lies between 4 cube is 64 and 5 cube is 125. So that's the reason I told you, you have to be crystal clear for cube numbers at least from 1 to 10. Okay, so 97 lies between 64 and 125. So we take 64 as your reference, whose cube root is 4. So 46 cube is 97,336. So 46 cube will be 97,336. Good. It is 67. Good. Okay, for 300,763, let us just check out. 300,763, isn't it? Let me write down the number here. So 3,07,063. So the first step that we do is segregate last three numbers. So since you have 3 here, it must be 7. So because 7 cube is 343. Now 300 lies between what two numbers? So 300 lies between, I am going to take 300. Okay. 6 cube as 216 and 7 cube as 343. So naturally, this lies between these two numbers. So 216, I take 6. So 67 will be your answer. Good. Very good. Okay, so indeed, I'm excited to see all your answers. Very happy, good that you are responding. Is it clear for all of you? Can we move to the next slide? Because you have a lot more interesting techniques to know. Yes. In cube root, we should take, yes. Just a second, Ma. Shruti, in cube root, we should take only lesser units. I don't understand, Shruti, if you can just still explain me, because I should not give you a wrong information. In cube root, we should take only lesser units in sense. See, of course, see, even in cube roots as well as in square roots, we did that. So if you, I think you are, just let me know if I've understood it right. So if you are taking this number, you segregated this and you found this one, right? And you found, you segregated this and this refers to, that is your last number, that is a units number, refers to 8. So it must be 2. Okay, so here you consider only the units number, and here you consider 32 as a whole. You try to see between what two numbers 32 arises, and there you take only the lesser value. Only you take the lesser value in that. I hope you're asking this only. 67, 77, we take the lesser roots of 60. Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. It is not between 67 and 77 at all, Shruti. It is only 67 for sure. You don't take 77 at all. You only take 67. 6. Okay, good. All right. So I hope we can move to the next slide. So, I mean, just by looking at this number, say if I'm going to give you a number like this, 33, 44, 77 to the power 88, 99, find the last digit of it. Any rough guesses what the answer can be? Any rough guesses about the answer? Even if you took it in the calculator, you will not get. Please, if you want, you can just check it out. Definitely, you will not get it in the calculator indeed. It will either show a math error or a syntax error. Doublets, okay? Doublets. All right, then I'll change the number. See, I'm going to give you a number like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or let's take 1, 2, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the power, okay, to the power 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Suppose if this is my number, what will be your units place? Okay, done. See, I mean to say that this is no way going to reflect the doublets or anything is no way just going to reflect the last digit. Okay, I will tell you one simple technique. Okay, it's supposed which you can solve all these problems. I'll just tell you one simple technique. I'll tell you the procedure. I want you all to listen to the procedure carefully and then tell me. See, you have a lot of techniques to find this. Maybe you can go with, what do you call as, just a second. All right, so you can just go with any kind of cyclic orders because all that is already there. But I would suggest a very, very easy technique. So as in I told you, I promised in the beginning, you can just look at the problem and tell me the answer. So that way I'll tell you a very easy technique. See, for example, I'm going to do it this way. Now, the first step that I do is I compare this with x, y, z to the power n. Okay, I compare this with x, y, z to the power n. Okay, so this is the first step that I do. And the second step that I do is, now can you compare these numbers? Can you tell me the value of z? See, z here is the last digit of my base, and here z is nothing else but 7. And similarly, n is the number in the power. So n is 8,899 in this value. So the whole problem, okay, the whole problem lies only between, or just takes the challenge only between z and 9. We are not going to do anything with the rest of the other numbers as such. Okay, so we only deal with z and n. So the next step that you do is divide n by 4. You divide n by 4. And I hope you all know the divisibility for 4. So how do you find the divisibility for 4? So any number, if it is divisible by 4, you will say that, the last two digits has to be either 0, 0, or it should be any number which is divisible by 4, isn't it? So that's the divisibility rule of 4 indeed. The last two digits has to be either 0, 0, or it should be divisible by 4, which means nothing else but you divide the last two digits by 4. Whatever remainder you get, the same remainder you will get when you divide the entire number by 4. That's what divisibility rule actually says. Okay, so if you have any number which is divisible by 4, that should give you a remainder 0. So which naturally means that you divide the entire number by 4, it should give you a remainder 0 indeed. Okay, so you divide the number by 4, you have a possibility to get a remainder as 0, remainder as 1, remainder as 2, and remainder as you have a possibility to get remainder as 0, 1, 2, or 3. Now, if your remainder is 3, okay, if your remainder is 3, the last digit will be nothing else but Z cube. That is, you cube the base number of this and write the last digit. Now, if your remainder is 2, the last digit will be Z square. Now, if your remainder is 1, the last digit will just be Z, and if your remainder is 0, you look out for Z. Okay, so if Z is even, you can say the last number is 6 for sure. If your Z is odd, except 5. I want everybody to take this table down. Except 5, the last digit will be 1. So this is a very, very simple table which can literally give you the answer. You don't even need a pen and a paper to solve this. Okay, I repeat the whole problem once again. Now you have to compare the number with x, y, z to the power n. We are just going to deal with only z and n and not with anything else. Now you divide the number in the power by 4. You have a possibility to get a remainder as 0, 1, 2, or 3. If your remainder is 3, it is z cube. Remainder is 2, it is z square. Remainder is 1, it is z. And if your remainder is 0, it will be z, can either be odd or even. So if your z is odd except 5, it is 1. If it is even, it has to be 6. Okay, so I hope you all have noted this down in your notebook. Note this down in your notebook. Or you can take a screenshot of it. Okay, fine. I hope you must have done it. All right. So now let us just come to this. Now what I'm going to do is, just a second, ma'am. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I would just take these two numbers because as I told you, because the first step that I have to do is divide n by 4. That is the number in the power by 4, isn't it? So I'm going to divide 8899 by 4, wherein I need not take all the 4 numbers to divide it by 4 and check. I would just consider only the last 2 digits because that's what the divisibility rule says. Because I am looking out only for the remainders. I don't want the quotient. See, if quotient veno appadina, neenga motta number 4 ala divide pananum. Quotient will be different because I divide the last 2 digits by 4, I get a different quotient. The entire 4 digits by 4, I get a different quotient. The quotient will differ, but not the remainder. The remainder will just be the same when you divide either the last 2 digits by 4 or the entire number by 4. That's what the divisibility rule says. So now 99 mattu eduthu, I'm going to divide it by 4. So 99 divided by 4, what the remainder will you get? So you will get a remainder of 3 because 100 is a multiple of 4. So 100 lende 99 pochina 1. Appo 4 lende 1 pochina 3. So naturally, ungaloda remainder enna appadina 3. So if your remainder is 3, the last number is nothing else but z cube. So z is nothing else but 7. 7 cube is 343. So your last digit will just be 3. Simple. Your last digit is just 3. Okay, so even though the problem looks complicated, the solution is very, very easy. I repeat it once again. See, 99, you divided it by 4. The remainder was 3. So since your remainder is 3, you look out for z cube. Z cube is 7 cube. 7 cube is 343. So you took 3 as your. In the 343, you must take only the last digit. It is not necessary the previous digit has to be 4 or the digit before that has to be 3. Either endo irkanondra avasiyam kadayadu, but the last digit will just be the same. It is 3 indeed. Can we try for a few other numbers? Yes. Yes, good. Can we try for a few other numbers? Can you try for this? Either try pani paranga pakkalam. No, just a second. I'll give you another number. You try for that first. Because I have certain questions to be asked. I'll give you a number. 243 to the power 644. Can you tell me the answer for this? Can you tell me the answer for this? (243 to the power 644). Okay, you explain this more simple way. Okay. All right, Shruti, I'll do that. I'll do that, Shruti. Definitely. Okay. See, I gave you a number 243 to the power 644, isn't it? Shruti, I guess you must have noted down the table that I gave you before. I guess you must have noted down the table that you gave before. See, the first step that I do is I divide the last two digits. Forget about everything. Forget about Z, forget about X, Y, N, and everything. Okay. So I am going to take only the number in the power first, and that too the last two digits. So I am taking 44. I divide 44 by 4. So my remainder is 0. 44 divided by 4. My quotient is 11, but my remainder is 0, right? So if my remainder is 0, the table says that if your remainder is 0, you look out for Z. So Z is odd or even, you will see. So Z on the 3, odd or even? It is naturally odd. So odd irunduchu appadina, the last digit will just be 1. You are just implying the table, that's it. Is this okay, Shruti? Okay, done. Okay, now I'll give you another question. Okay, yes, anytime. Okay, so I'll give you another question. Let us take this. 555 to the power 640. Now, what will be the answer for this? 555 to the power 640. $555. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not able to see the chat. Yes, it is 6, it is 5, it is okay. A lot of people has given 6 and 5. See here, the answer, the number is 555 to the power 640, right? Now let us just go along with the table. Now the table says you take the last two digits, you divide it by 4, and then if you see a remainder as 640, I guess I've given the same number. So you divide it by 4, the remainder is 0. So of course the remainder is 0, then you look out for Z, isn't it? You look out for Z. Z is 5. It is an odd number, but the table says it should be an odd number other than 5. So if it is 5, you cannot say that it is 6 or 1. So if it is 5, it has to be 5 only. Because you can just check out 5 to the power 1 is 5. Okay, 5 square. So if you are going to take 5 square is 25. And then 5 cube is 125. So 5 to the power 4 is 625, right? So 5 power any number gives you 5 in your units place. That is in your last place. So which means that 5 power any number gives you just 5. You need not look out for any strategy at all. You need not even go to the table and find. So if I have 5 in the base number, units number, I can just go blindly saying that my answer is 5. So that's why we called 5 as one of your magical number. Okay, so I'm just writing 5 as one of the magical number. Magical number is 5. And you still have 3 other magical numbers. What can they be? Any guesses? See, we call 5 as a magical number because 5 per any number gives you 5 in your units place, right? So similarly, there are 3 other numbers where the number to the power of any number gives you the number as such. The numbers are 0. 0 power any number gives you 0 in your units place. 1 power any number gives you 1 in your units place. And 6 power any number gives you 6 in your units place. Okay, so which means that in the place of Z, if you have either 0 or 1 or 5 or 6, you need not go for any strategy. You can just blindly say that your answer is 5, 0, 1, 5, 6 respectively. If if it is 5, 0, 1 or 6, you can go for the strategy, go for the table and easily find out. Yes. I hope it's clear for all of you. 10 again, 10 is nothing else but, now Deepa Lakshmi, 10 is nothing else but 0 only. See, we only focus on the last digit, right? So it is just 0. Yeah. So can you try this on, try to find the answers for these two? Can you try to find the answers for these two? Okay, see, I'll just tell you a shorter technique to find. You need not, again, write and everything scribble. Do not use, because when it comes to the placements, I'll tell you one more input. Not only the time, you will also have scarcity about the place. You will not be given, you cannot ask for additional sheets and work out. So you have to be very careful in using the space given. Okay, so you just can't go for a longer calculation. So let me tell you 11. So I'm just taking 11. 11 divided by 4. My remainder will be 3, right? So my remainder will be 3. So if my remainder is 3, it is 9 cube. Is that cube? 9 cube. So 9 cube is 729. So I'll just take 9 into. Again, 22. 22 divided by 4, my remainder is 2. So if my remainder is 2, it is it square. 8 square is 64. So I'll just take 4. Okay, I'll put this. Now plus 33. 33 divided by 4, remainder is 1. So if my remainder is 1, it is just Z. So I'll just take 7 into 6. So I have 6. 6 to the power, any number gives me 6 only. So I'll take 6. So 4 9s 36. So here also I'll just go with 6. And 6 7s 42. So here also I'll just go with 2. So 6 plus 2 is 8. So I didn't calculate anything. Just 8 is my answer. Check out. Okay, so since there are different answers, I'll work out once again and show you. So 11 when I divide by 3. Okay, so 11 divided by 3, my remainder is, 11 divided by 4, my remainder is 3. So since remainder is 3, it is 9 cube. 9 cube is 729. So I'll take 9 here into 22. 22 divided by 4, my remainder is 2. So since 2 is my remainder, it is Z square. 8 square, 64. Okay, so I'll place this plus 33. 33 divided by 4, my remainder is 1. So remainder is 1, it is just Z. So 7 into 6. So now it is 4 9s 36 plus 6 7s 42. So 6 plus 2, 8. And 8 is my answer. Is it clear for all of you? Yes, perfect. Now, how would you solve this? AB dash 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 6 to the power 4n plus 1 into CD dash 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 7 to the power 4n plus 4. How can we calculate this? See, it's again simple. My units number is 6. So I'll just put 6 into 7. But here it is 4n plus 4. Now, there are two ways of solving it. See, when I take 4n plus 4, okay, when I take 4n plus 4 and divide it by 4, you can easily say that 4n is a factor of 4. So my remainder will be 0. And similarly, 4 is also a factor of 4. My remainder will be 0. So here I have a remainder 0. Here I have a remainder 0. So naturally, when I divide this whole 4n plus 4, okay, whole 4n plus 4 by 4, my remainder should be 0 only. Okay, so here my remainder is 0. Then I look out for Z. Z is odd or even? It is odd. So since it is odd, it has to be 1. So the answer is 6. Okay, now If you say that, ma'am, I don't understand, how did you divide, remainder, factor, and all these are coming? No worries. See, you have 4n plus 4, isn't it? You have to divide by 4. Now take the value, the value of n as 1. Put n as 1. So 4 into 1 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 divided by 4, your remainder is 0. Got it? Similarly, take n as 2, and find the remainder. N as 2, so 4 2s 8, 8 plus 4, 12, 12 divided by 4, your remainder will be 0. Now take n as 3 and find the remainder. So it is like 3 4s 12, 12 plus 4, 16 by 4, remainder 0. So you take any value for n, you have the remainder as 0. Okay, you can take any value of n, you will definitely get remainder as 0. So which means that your remainder is 0, you directly look out for is it. So since it is odd, you take 1 as the units digit of it. So 6 into 1 will give you 6, and that's the answer indeed. Okay, is it clear for all of you? You can keep me posted for any doubts if you have. Super, excellent, excellent. Good, good. So we are moving towards it. See, you can definitely challenge your calculators here also. So in the previous case, we were finding the last digit alone, and here we are going to find the last 2 digits. But I am not going to take this as of now because this will literally eat up all the time remaining. So I'll keep it at the last. And also you can just focus it across. You can have a limelight of it. You can take these problems, problems of these kinds, because if you are targeting for high-end companies, that is your dream companies, will definitely have problems from this. Okay, so if you have, if you have the dream companies will definitely have problems like this, finding out the last 2 digits. So you can definitely have a look at it. Maybe post while I'll come back to this to explain all, because I have a set of problems which I really wanted to discuss. So we will come back to this again. Okay, so last 2 digits, right? So this is, I've taken a couple of problems. So as I told you, you can definitely solve by a conventional method, but all the reason that I have taken here is only to discuss the shortcut of it, the easy technique to solve the answer. So try out this problem. You can just go through this and tell me your answer. Answers. Which one? Sindhu, Sindhu, I'm sorry, I did not understand. Like, you're asking me to tell once again about what, Sindhu? That AB sum. Okay, AB sum. All right, Sindhu, I'll tell it once again. Okay, so for Sindhu, I'll just go back to the problem again and I'll explain it. Now listen, see if it is AB. So here, as such, since you have 6, as I told you, the deal is only from the last digit of your base and the number in the power, right? So you need not bother about any other numbers. So since 6 is my units place, naturally this evaluation is going to give me 6 as the answer. So I'll just take 6. Okay, now when it comes here, you have 4n plus 1, and all that you have to do is divide this by 4 and find the remainder, right? So when you divide 4n plus 4 by 4, you will definitely get remainder as 0. So you can confirm that in 2 different ways. One is that you can take different values of n. So if I'm going to take n as 1, now let me take n as 1. So n is 1. So 1 into 4 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 divided by 4 is remainder 0. So I get remainder as 0. Okay, so similarly, you can take n as 2. So if you take n as 2 and find the remainder. So if I'm going to take n as 2, 2 4 is 8, 8 plus 4 is 12, 12 divided by 4 is again remainder 0. So you take different values of n. You can even take n as 100 and see, you will definitely you will definitely get remainder as only 0. Okay, so this is one way of solving it. Or you can also think, see, 4n is a multiple of 4. Right, 4n is a multiple of 4, so naturally this gives a remainder 0, and 4 is also a multiple of 4, and this also gives you a remainder as 0. Right, so since this is your remainder 0 and this is again your remainder 0, naturally when you divide it by 4 as such, you will get a remainder 0. So that's how you concluded that 4n by 4 divided by 4 should give you a remainder 0. So if your remainder is 0, then you look out for is it odd or even on. So since is odd இருக்கிறதுனால, from the table you can easily understand that the value of the last digit will just be 1. So you can take 1, 6 into 1 will give you 6, and in the entire composition, the entire component last digit என்னவா இருக்கும் அப்படினா 6 ஆ இருக்கும். Is it clear, Sindhu? Yes, okay, good. Right, so we are moving towards this problem. Now, what is the simplest technique that we can solve? The average salary, see, generally a company has 2 different types of staff. Okay, any company that you take, any long run company that you take, you will have 2 different types of staff. One is your unionized staff, the other one is your management staff. Okay, the unionized staff for your average salary is 8,000, and that of the management staff for your average salary is 13,000. The average salary of all the employees of the company is 12,000. Now, what are they asking? Yes, very good, Brinda. 1:4 is your answer. Now, what are they asking? They're asking you to find the number of unionized staff to the number of management staff and the ratio of it. It is not the actual unionized staff and management staff that they are asking. They're asking only for the ratio. Now, see, you have different strategies to solve. If the average salary of all the employees. So average, as you all know, what do you mean by average? Average is total of all the items, divided by the number of items, okay, will be equal to the average. So this is the usual way that we do, isn't it? So if in the total salary, we do not know, but there are how many people? Let A be the number of unionized staff, B be the number of management staff. So I'm going to take 8,000 as my reference. So average salary 8,000. So this 8,000 is my average salary. This is nothing else but the total number of unionized staff divided by, okay, divided by the number of unionized staff, which is you. Okay, adhe madri, the total number of the total salary of management staff divided by the number of management staff will be equal to 13,000. So this is one equation. Another equation is like the total number of, or the total salary of unionized, that is TU plus TM divided by U plus M will be equal to 12,000. So you have 3 different equations. In the moon equation you use funny, you can solve U and M, which is literally the most time-taking method. I'm telling you, this is the most time-taking method. If you are still solving by this, I'm very sorry, you're on the wrong note. I'll tell you the easiest technique. See here, whenever you have your ratios and averages joining hands, you can definitely consider a rule called allegation rule. So it is actually a boon for aptitude. In the madri or rendu moonu boon irukku. Boon na enadhu varan. You have 2-3 boons when it comes to aptitude. Okay, so this method is literally a boon for one of the aptitude techniques. Now the allegation rule. Okay, just a second. I'm sorry. Okay, so the allegation rule says, the allegation rule enna soludha appadina, you have to take the quantity, the value of 1, say value 1 inge eduthirkeenga, and then you take the value 2 here, and then you take the mid, or mid value, average value of 1 and 2, mid value. Now the mid value will definitely be, see, for example, let me take this problem. Okay, so this problem says the average salary of unionized staff is 8,000, right? So I'm going to take the unionized staff on one side and the management staff on the other side. So if I'm going to take unionized staff here and the management staff here, so unionized staff on one side who's 8,000 is the average salary. I'm just going to take 8 because 8,000, 13,000, 12,000, I'm leaving all the 3 zeros behind. Okay, so then management staff's average salary is given as 13,000. So I'll place 13,000 here. And the average of the entire employees, all the employees is 12. Okay, so here just compare these two. So this is your V1, this is your V2, and this is your mid value. So this is your V1, this is your V2, and this is your mid value, right? So the mid value will definitely be greater than one of the values and lesser than the other values. So 12 is greater than 8, but lesser than 13, right? So that's why that is called as a mid value. Now you just have to find the difference. Difference between this and this will give you the quantity of this particular value, and difference between this and this gives you the quantity of this particular value. So all I'm supposed to find is the ratio of unionized to the management. So the ratio is 1:4 as such. No big calculations, no space using, nothing. You just put it out in the allegation rule, solve it and get the answer. I repeat this once again. Okay, I repeat this once again. The rule says this only. Okay, the rule says you can take, okay, you can take any particular value 1 on one side and value 2 on the other side, and here will be your mean value. Okay, this will be your mean value. Now the mean value will definitely be greater than one of them, one of V1 and V2, and lesser than the other. Okay, so find the difference. The difference accordingly will give you the quantity of Q1 and Q2. So this is what the rule actually says. This is called as your allocation rule. So we applied the same here. It says 8,000. See, all I'm supposed to do is to find the ratio of unionized is to management. So I'm going to take unionized on one side and management on the other side. So the average salary of unionized is 8, management salary is 12. The average salary of the, sorry, this is management is 13. The average salary of the entire employees is 12. I find the difference. This is 4 and this is 1, and this will be the ratio. This just means that for every 1 unionized staff, there are 4 management staff. That's the ratio means. So 1:4 will be your answer. So we are just focusing only on the shortcuts of it. Is it clear for all of you? Yes, yes, good. Cool. Next problem. Now, how can you solve this? A merchant has 1,000 kg of sugar, part of which he sells at 8% profit, the rest at 18% profit. Good. He gains 14% of the whole. Can I tell you one? See, even though the problem talks about profit, I am not going to solve it in the strategy of profit, loss, gain, nothing. I don't want to interfere in all this profit and loss. So that's the reason I took this as your other problem. Then how can I do this? So again, look at the problem. The problem says part of which he sells at 8 and the rest he sells at 18, right? So here again, he gains 14% of the whole, which is the average. So average is there, ratio is there. So average and ratio are joining hands, and naturally I can use my allocation. Okay, I can use my allocation rule. So I'm going to use it. Now, how do I use? I take 8, it's all about the profit, right? So I take 8% profit on one side, and then 18% profit on the other side, and then 14% on the whole. Then I take the ratio of it, 14 and 8. The difference between 14 and 8 will be 6, and the difference between 14 and 18 will be 4. So the ratio is nothing else but 4:6, which in turn tells you that the ratio is 2:3. So when you have 2:3 as your ratio, what are you supposed to find? The quantity sold at 18%. That is, for every 2 kg of 8% profit quantity, you sell 3 kg of 18% profit quantity. And the total quantity is 1000 kg sugar, which is already there. So you're supposed to find, now out of total 2 plus 3, 5, out of total 5 kg, if 3 kgs is for 18% profit, what it is for 1000. I repeat, if for total 5, that is if for 2 plus 3, totally 5 kgs of the quantity, 3 is for 18% profit, what it is for 1000, which is nothing else but 600. And that is your answer. So here, if you could observe, we are not scratching anything. We are not using much space. We are not into profit, loss, gains, nothing. No overlapping of concepts. It's very, very simple. You just understood that the problem talks about ratios. The problem talks about average. So here is where the ratios of, the average and the ratios join hands. So I'm directly applying the allocation rule. Is it clear? Yeah, sure. I'll repeat it once again for Brinda and Abhi. Okay, see, now listen. So this is the problem, right? Oh. So a merchant gains 1000 kg. So I hope you're clear with this. 8, 18 and 14. So you found the difference. Now this was 6 and the difference here was 4. So you ultimately came to an idea saying that 4 is to 6, or I'm reducing it, 2 is to 3 will be the ratio. Okay, that is for every 2 kgs of this variety, he sells or he makes 3 kg of this variety, so that he gains 14% of the whole. Okay, now my question is, how much or what is the quantity sold at 18% profit? That is with reference to this. Now, if for total 2 plus 3, so totally there are 2 kgs plus 3 kgs. So if for total 2 plus 3, 3 is only meant for 80. So what it is for 1000. So if for 5, 3 is for 18, what it is for 1000. Now, if I'm going to tune the question on the other side, what is the quantity sold at 8% profit, then it will be like this. If for 5, it is only 2, what it is for 1000. So this is your 18% quantity and this is your 8% quantity. Is it clear for all of you? Once again, yes. Why I've taken 2 is to 3 instead of 4 is to 6? Yes, nice question. See, a ratio should always be reduced to the least. Okay, I just cannot have 4 is to 6 as my answer. My answer can only be 2 is to 3. A ratio always has to be reduced to the least. And similarly, a ratio can never be in fractions. Fractionless, say for example, I cannot have a ratio like this. 2 by 3 is to 1 by 4. Appadinu or ratio irukave mudiyadhu. Your answer cannot be like this. You have to convert this to whole numbers. Now, how do we convert? Either I can take 4 here, 3 here and multiply. So I'm cross multiplying. So 4 and 2 is 8 and 3 and 1 is 3. So my ratio is 8 is to 3. Suppose if I have 3 numbers, 2 by 3 is to 1 by 4 is to say 1 by 5. Now I cannot have an answer like this. I have to convert this to whole numbers. How do I convert? I take the LCM of 3, 4 and 5. So 3, 4 and 5's LCM can be in a reclam. 60 irukla. So now I multiply 60 in each case. Okay, 60 or case na multiply pani, I convert them into whole numbers. Okay, so 40 is to 15 is to 12. This will be my answer. Okay, so a ratio can never be in fractions, a ratio can never be in decimals, and a ratio has to be reduced to the least. And that is why 4 is to 6, I converted into 2 is to 3. I cannot have, say, 4 is to 6, 4 is to 8. It has to be like 1 is to 2. Okay, 2 is to 6. It has to be 1 is to 3. A ratio has to be reduced to the least. How to arrive at the answer? Yenda answer da Sindhu? Like, I'm sorry, Sindhu, like answer. See, I think you're confused about the last part only. That is, you got the answer as, that is, you got the ratio as 2:3. How did you find 18% profit? I think this must be your doubt. See, in the 2, the ratio 2, it means that 8% profit, and this is your 18% profit. That is, say 2 parts is being sold at 8% profit, and 3 parts is being sold at 18% profit. Now, I am asking you to find the total quantity sold at 18% profit. Yeah. So 18% profit is nothing else but 3 parts. That is, out of totally 5. See, 2 plus 3, மொத்தம் 5 பங்கு இருக்கு. அந்த 5 பங்குல 3 பங்கு தான் 18%. அப்போ 1000ல எவ்வளவு? 5ல, see, you take it this way. 5 டோட்டலா இருக்கும்போது அதுல 3. அதாவது, for example, I'll tell you one example. See, very simple example. Now, imagine that if you have a test for 80 marks. 80 marksக்கு நீங்க 60 வாங்கிருக்கீங்க. அப்ப 100க்கு எவ்வளவுன்னு எப்படி கால்குலேட் பண்ணுவீங்க? 80க்கு 60னா 100க்கு எவ்வளவுன்னு கால்குலேட் பண்ணுவீங்க இல்லையா? அதே மாதிரி தான் இதுவும். 5ல 3னா, out of 5, if it is 3, what it is for 1000? புரிஞ்சுதா? When I did 3 by 5, I got 60. 3 by 5 into 1000 you have to do. Yes, 1000 into, because the 1000 kg தானே இங்க sugar இருக்கு. See, மொத்தமா 1000 kg sugar இருக்குடா. Totally there are 1000 kgs of sugar. Okay, so you are dividing into 2 different parts. One, you are selling at 8% profit. The other part, you are selling at 18% profit. So மொத்தமா the 1000 kg க்கு you've got 14% profit கிடைச்சிருக்கு. அப்போ நீங்க 18% profitக்கு எவ்வளவு செப்பரேட் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கீங்க நீங்க கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். Is it clear for all of you? Good. You had a good brainstorming session. All right, fine. So I'm moving towards the next problem. Let us just take this. Either try pani paranga. R and S are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 2:1. Okay, so profits and losses. For example, now let us just take, I'll just take some time to explain the problem down for you. Now let us take R and S. For example, if they are starting up a business. Now say R, he invests say 2000 in the business, and yes, invests 1000 rupees in the business. So rendu pera say that they have started up a business firm. They get a profit of say 300 at the end of year. See, generally it will be calculated only at the end of the year. So they get a profit of 300 at the end of the year. So how much R can take the profit of from 300, and how will S get the, how much S will get the profit from 300? It should naturally be 200 and 100. They cannot take 150 and 150, right? Because R is invested 2 parts and S is invested only 1 part. So the same is the way. So they share even the profit or the losses in the ratio of 2:1. So which means that R has invested 2 parts and one has invested, S has invested 1 part. So R and S, they share profits and losses in the ratio 2:1. Now they admit one other person called T into the partnership. So they admit T into the partnership, giving him 1/5 the share in the profits, which he acquires from R and S in the ratio of 1:2. Okay, 1:2. Calculate the new profit sharing ratio. This we எப்படி பண்ணலாம்? You can take your time, you can think about it, and then tell me your answer. Just think, because thinking is very, very essential. Okay, 2:1:3. Very good. Sindhu has given an answer as 2:1:3. All right. Now let me give you one simple thing. See, if you are going to take, 2 and 1, 2x and x, and then admit T, the mari x vachu solve panningina, you will definitely be into a lengthier part again. Instead, if you understand the problem clearly, see, this is one other example for aptitude. So, the understanding is the first challenge that you have. So, once you understand the problem sort down very, very easily. So, I am going to take, let me just imagine that R has invested 200. Okay, and S is invested 100. Seriya? So, because R and S is in the ratio of 2:1, so naturally, it means that R has invested 200 and S has invested 100. So the total amount that they, of course, like if they had invested, and we are talking about the profits, because here, if you could see the problem, they share 1/5 share in the profits. So since it is about profit, let us take this as 200 and 100 as a profit. Neenga investment in edukka venda, profit ne edutukonga. So let us take profit of R as 100 and profit of S as, profit of R is 200 and profit of S is 100. So the total profits is 300, isn't it? So total profits the 300, they are giving 1/5 the share to T. So you need to find what is 1/5 of 300. So 1/5 of 300 is nothing else but 60. So this 60 is the investment of T. So R is here, S is here, and T is here. So T invests 60. Now, Lala, imagine panninga, this 60 of T is not from T. It is only from R and S. Correct? So T வந்து T உடைய பணத்தை போடல. 60 அப்படின்றது T உடைய பணம், அது T உடைய பணத்தை போடல. ஆனா R கிட்ட இருந்தும் S கிட்ட இருந்தும் வாங்கி தான் போட்டிருக்காங்க. So எந்த ரேஷியோல வாங்கியிருக்காங்க? He acquires from R and S in the ratio of 1:2. So which means that one part is given from R and 2 parts is given from S. Okay, so out of this 60, what is one part? You need to find what is one part and what is 2 part. One part of 60 is 1/3 out of 60, correct? Which is nothing else but 20. And 2 parts of 60 is 40. Is it right? Okay, one part of 60 is 20 and 2 parts of 60 is 40. So R has given 20 rupees and S is given 40 rupees. So from 200, if R gives 20, R's remaining amount will be 180, and that is R's new investment, 180. And from yes, who had got 100 as a profit, yes gives away 40 for T. So taking 40 from 100, it's 60. So yes's new investment is 60. So this will be the new ratio. 180 is to 60 is to 60, which is 3:1:1. Okay. Now, ரொம்ப simple solve பண்ணேன். என்ன சொன்னேன்னா, I take the profit of R. Okay, I take the profit of R as 200, profit of S as 100, and the total profits as 300. Out of 300, 1/5 is given to T. So 1/5 of 300 is nothing else but 60. So this 60 is given from R and S in the ratio of 1:2. 1:2. So one part of 60 is 20 and 2 parts of 60 is 40. So from 200, so if you just imagine from 200, R gives away 20. So R's remaining amount will be, okay, R's remaining amount will be 200 minus 20, which is 180. S's remaining amount will be 100 minus 40, which is 60. And R as such gets 60. So the ratio is 180 is to 60 is to 60, which turns to 3:1:1. Good. That's the answer. Okay. Is it clear for all of you? Any doubts? Yes. So in the Madri, there are a lot of other problems. Shortest techniques nariya irukku. But all that you have to do is browse, spend a lot of time and practice. Okay, நீங்க நிறைய browse பண்ணலாம், practice பண்ணலாம், and you have lot of free online tests. அந்த test எல்லாமே எடுத்துக்கலாம், so that you will have a clear clarity. Any easy way to calculate? Yes, definitely it is there, ma. There are lot more easy ways to calculate time, speed, and distance. See, but that, the time is the only problem now. See, we are supposed to wind up the session. The reason why I wind up right now is that just because I wanted to discuss few other things with you all. நிறைய பேர் எனக்கு இது கேட்டிருந்தீங்க, about the banking. So I just wanted to give an eye opening on the banking exams. So that's the reason I'm winding up right now. So So anyways, I mean, I have a couple of videos of mine too, so which I will definitely share it with you all, and that would definitely benefit you in some or the other case. Okay, so now I'm moving over to the question that you had asked me yesterday. What are all the topics will be asked in aptitude? Yes, I will definitely see aptitude. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, sure. I'll share my videos. I'll share your. I'll share my videos through the placement department. No worries on that. And see, when it comes to aptitude, now first let me finish off that and come back to you. Just a second. I'll share another screen with you all. Just a second. I hope you all can see the screen now. Okay, so yes, we were talking about, we'll just have a quick, go through for all these slides. See, we were talking about this one, right? The opportunities. We were talking about the opportunities. So you have a lot of opportunities. As I told you yesterday, these are the different boards which will generally conduct a lot of examinations. Okay, in the boards, don't decide panel. சரியா இந்த போர்ட்ஸ் தான் டிசைட் பண்ணும் உங்களுக்கு இப்ப இதுல கவனிங்க see when it comes to banking so SBI la you have clerk PO SO is your specialist officer okay SO is your specialist officer and then you have RRB la irukku RBI la assistant grade B officer nu edupanga NABARD exam idellame irukku clerk this is your salary wise structure okay in the salary la generally people will take in this is the general compensation that you get. Now let's go for the selection process. See, the selection process will have a prelims. Okay, prelims irukku idukku ellame notification prior ungalku vandrum prelims irukum main exam irukum final selection and the process the final selection and process together. So you must have secured at least 50% in class 10 and a degree course from recognized university. Candidates the final year can take the exam, but you are supposed to produce a proof of passing with at least 50% marks at the time of joining. Okay, so clerk selection ku idha ungal procedure. See, prelims la ipdi dhaan irukum. See, these are the different areas of focus. So you have English. Okay, English na adla enna varuna reading comprehension irukum, and then you have you will have like synonyms, antonyms, error correction, grammar, and you have all these things. So that all comes under your English language. And then it's your numerical ability. Ipo நம்ம பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா இதெல்லாம் numerical ability. Reasoning ability actually we didn't touch it all, but there are a lot of reasoning other concepts also. Maybe at the end of the session I'll tell you where to focus and how to do that. Okay, so this all comprises of 100 questions with 100 marks. Nalla gavaninga 100 questions 100 marks in 1 hour, which is 60 minutes. So you just imagine நீங்க எவ்வளவு ஸ்பீட்ல போனோம். You have less than nearly 30-40 seconds for a question to be answered. Okay, just 40 seconds or even less than that for a question to be answered. Okay, so imagine how fast you should calculate. Okay, so main exam liyum adhe maadha. Just see that general and financial awareness irukum, general English irukum, quantitative aptitude, reasoning and computer aptitude irukum. So these are the time limits with questions which has been there. So here you have almost 190 questions, but relatively prelims oda compare pandreche main exam konja tough ah irukum when it comes to clerk. The next is for probationary officer. Same is the case, that 50% or 60%, that would be the only difference. So I'm just going a little fast because we have a lot to discuss. Good coaching center. It is here soon. The questionnaire session will commence. Okay, sure. All right. Coaching center for math. See, for math, you have a lot of other good coaching centers. It all depends. There are so many factors, that decides which is good, because financial aspect is one. Because if you really want to opt for a very good, excellent coaching center, definitely the finance will be the highest end. Exams are negative marks வந்து மெயின்ஸ்ல இருக்கும். அது வந்து உங்களுக்கு நோட்டிபிகேஷன்ல people will definitely tell you, because every time it changes. It's not a constant all the time. Okay, so it changes, but உங்களுக்கு notificationலயோ இல்ல exam முன்னாடி instructionsல people will definitely tell you if you have negative markings or something like that. Topics for aptitude. So when you take topics for aptitude, you will definitely have numbers. Numbers is a huge concept. So numbers வந்துரும். அதுக்கப்புறம் you will have ratios, proportions, variations, and then you have commercial math, which is more of into profit and loss, percentages. இதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப important. Time, speed and distance, time and work, probability, permutation, a little bit of geometry, mensuration. இது எல்லாமே ஒண்ணுமே இல்ல. It is all your 6th standard, 7th standard maths, but little tougher part. அதாவது இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் critically think பண்ற மாதிரி கொடுப்பாங்க. And reasoningல எடுத்தீங்கன்னா you have clocks, calendars, and then you have analytical reasoning, puzzle test, you have blood relation, seating arrangement, syllogisms னு ஒரு concept இருக்கு, and you have data sufficiency, data interpretation. So lot many concepts are there. See, I'm telling you the year, see, I've given you this, right? The bankers adda இருக்கு பாருங்க. இதெல்லாம் if you could just go through, you will have all information that you really want. Numerous information will be given in there. Okay, so prelims odia SBI main odia, I mean PO, probationary officer, that's a very nice package. A very good package, almost like settlement only. So adukku pathinga appadina, this is the prelims and main exam pattern. Prelims and main exam pattern will be like this. Okay, then moving over. So descriptive test ஒன்னு இருக்கு. நீங்க just go through this particular website. Okay, just go through this particular website. You will have all information that's required because they keep updating every time, so you can get it from there. Bankers adda. And then see, you look at the ratio. It is 500:1. Appo ஒரு position ku, see, for one position there are almost 500 people who are competing. Okay, 500 people who are competing. So which means that it is quite not easy. Yes, ma'am, just a second. Quite not easy. All right, so let us just see. UPSC கேட்டிருந்தீங்க. So UPSC ku, I'll give you a website where you can get all the details of UPSC. See here, civil service exam. You can take for this website, byju's.com, free IAS, prep civil. So idukku poninga appadina, you will get lot of information regarding the civil service exams. So civil service exams la idudha. Now here, see this, here comes your aptitude, civil service aptitude test, which is very very important. This is your qualifying paper. Idhula qualify aanada neenga adutha exam neenga eludave mudiyum, like that. So all I try to say is aptitude is really important. Even TNPSC, you have all these exams. Here also aptitude becomes your qualifying paper. Okay, so then CGL. So this is your staff selection commission. You have grade 1 officer level grade, assistant of CGL. CGL is your combined graduate level, combined higher secondary level. Idella nethu na sonne. So idella in the exams ella irukum. All these exams will be there. So this is the general pattern for CGL. You have 25 questions. It is just like your campus placements. Idella neenga perusa UPSC madri prepare panna venda, but this is just like your campus placements. Neenga idha prepare pannale, it is, I'm telling you, it's very easy to get qualified. Okay, it's very easy to get in through. So SSC, especially CGL, if you are trying, it's live settlement. Okay, beautiful jobs that you get, beautiful settlement you get. So it's safe and secure as well. So your jobs will be safe and secure too. Sure, I'll try to share this PPT along with you. No worries on that, Akansha. I'll do that. Okay, so all this is, and then defense neenga adu, na sonna madri neenga byju's illa just Google pannale, you have lot of other informations regarding this. Okay, so finally I wanted to say that your entire thing is just only, it is just like a war. Okay, it is just like a war. So all you have to do is prepare yourself really well. So prepare yourself really well and be ready for the war. You have to develop your skills at whatever cost in terms of communication, in terms of calculating, because as I told you yesterday, your calculations plays a major role here. So in the skill எல்லாம் develop பண்ணீங்கன்னா, you have beautiful jobs coming in across. Okay, so with this, I wind up. Thank you all so much for your patience and cooperation. I really appreciate each and everyone who had participated really well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really helpful for us. So there's just one question here.
Yeah.
Ma'am, one girl like Nivedita B is asking whether you could suggest a good coaching center for math.
See, that's what, in fact, I think I got a same query here. The coaching center as such, you can go for so many online coaching centers which are available. Coaching center for math is such, you can opt, you can opt time is a good one. And you have a lot of other coaching centers also. So I would, yes. Now the most important fact is your commercials, because you had to look out for everybody. I mean, every other aspect. Commercials pakano, time spent pakano, and you have to look at, ask for a demo. Almost all the competitors are really doing well in terms of coaching centers, and even Race, they are doing well. See, what I would suggest is, but it depends on each and every person. Say, maybe there are some certain issues which may be there. So what you can do is ask for a demo class. Okay, ask for every information that you really want. Make sure that you are really doing good. Make sure you have good number of good sets of examinations or practice tests which they give you, and then come to a decision. Same is the case with banking exams also.
Also, ma'am, for TNPSC exam, will Lakshmikant book be enough?
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So the book as such, see, what I would suggest is you have a lot of books. The books will be a platform for you to learn. You can only look at the questions. See, this is one thing that I also wanted to tell you. In fact, I tell this to every student of mine. You can use the books only for the questions. Please do not look out for the answers, because once you start looking out for the answers, you become addicted to the answers there, and you will start justifying how the answer became right. Even though the answer given there is correct, you have a lot of other techniques also. So you can enroll yourself in a lot of other forums, which is available in your Google, in your net services. Be a part of the forum and start, going through, following them, so that you will come to know a lot more shorter techniques. Because books as such gives you the lengthier process. Of course, the time management is very, very important here. So you can be a part of many forums. They will go for many shortcuts. You can go for the discussion, start thinking, form groups, go for a brainstorming session. That will definitely help you all out.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Examinations. So apart from placements, students who are interested in writing this competitive examination will definitely make use of this platform today. It was really a brainstorming session, madam. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the opportunity. In fact, I would like to thank many people who had literally supported me for this. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, ma'am. And one request from my end for our students, I would request you to please do share the PPT with us. And also, if there is any question paper patterns you have with you, you can please do share us, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, I'll do that. No worries.
And one more question. If there is any website that is available for our students to go and take up a practice test or mock test online, ma'am?
Ma'am, there are a lot of good websites which give quality questions like Face Prep and everything. I will anyways forward all the links to you.
Okay.
You can forward it to the students. There are so many platforms where you can take the online test for free. Yeah. So you take a particular concept, study it, and then take the test across. So there are so many websites.
You could refer that. No, that would be of great help for us students.
Sure, I'll do that.
Unless or until we practice it, aptitude knowledge cannot be acquired overnight, right?
Definitely,
so definitely practice makes a man perfect.
Exactly.
For this, we need the students to do a lot of practice tests, mock tests. Only then they will be able to clear it.
Definitely, that's true.
Yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks a lot for the wonderful
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you very much, my dear students, for the very interactive session throughout. Close to 150 messages we can see in the chat box. Thanks a lot for that. We have posted a feedback link in the chat box. I request you all to please do fill in the feedback link before 12:30 today. I repeat, we have posted the feedback link both in the Zoom and YouTube. So please do fill in the feedback link before 12:30 today. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot, technical team, for the coordination. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am. Technical team, please do wait for 2 more minutes because the feedback link is being shared right now. Hope it has been shared in YouTube also. So please wait for 2 more minutes for the students to fill in the feedback.